Yo, what's up, family? Before we start the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and share any and every one that you can. Just read out there a little bit more. With that being said, let's get right into the video. The Boston Celtics got back on track last night, beating the Brooklyn Nets 139-114 in Brooklyn. The Celtics offense seemed to get back the flow we were used to, so let's get into the film. All right, how y'all doing? I hope y'all doing good. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, make sure you take your shoes off before you come in the house. And the Celtics offense looked like the well-oiled machine that we're used to seeing. And, you know, these past couple games, the Celtics have been lackadaisical, not giving their whole effort, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But the offense and the movement that we were used to, the drive and kick factory that they used to be, or that they still are, but it just didn't show up in these last couple games. And in this game, it really showed. And now I'm able to show you guys some of the stuff I've seen as far as offensively. So on this play, we got a double ball screen look going into stagger action for Sam Hauser. And this play works because of the gravity of Jason Tatum, right? He played amazing in this game, scoring and passing, just all around offensively, he was great. On plays where there's two screens, right, it can either be off ball or on ball. You really see where the priorities lie for the defenders, right? So we got Zaire on Tatum, who did a good job, but Tatum is just too good, right? First screen by Pritchard. Luke comes up, but he's not actually going to set the screen. So you see Cam Thomas, he jumps out on Tatum. The Nets don't want this. Now, Cam might have wanted this on this possession, but the Nets don't want this. As you see, we have Zaire here on Pritchard. He's like, hey, I should probably go back. Cam's already too far. But now Luke does actually set the second screen, and Claxton is not guarding him. He was not guarding Cater too, but I'll show you how the Celtics use that to their advantage. As Tatum drives, Zaire and Claxton both come to Tatum. This is supposed to be stagger action for Sam Hauser. There's supposed to be two screens off ball from Payton and Luke. Luke has no one to screen because they're all worried about Tatum's drive, and that just opens up Sam Hauser a good pass and a Hauser three. All right, so here we got some Ram action. Of course, Ram is when there's an off-ball screen set for somebody to go set a ball screen. So, of course, we got Payton Pritchard with the pin down for Luke Cornett on Claxton. And this creates just a 2-on-1 for about 1 or 2 seconds. And this is the threat of Tatum's pull-up three, right? Claxton knows all about that. Jason Tatum, when he sees Nick Claxton, that three start going in all net. But the threat of that, right, is what makes this hesitation effective, right? Right there. Claxton knows that Tatum can hit this shot in his face anytime, and he did later in this game, but he just drives right past him. And as that's happening, you got Payton Pritchard clearing out to the wing as Luke Cornett rolls. So this occupies Cam Thomas right here, and he's gonna have to chuck Luke Cornett as Payton Pritchard is wide open. And again, this is why, like, everybody talks about Tatum's three-point attempt. I don't mind Tatum shooting 6 to 8 threes a game as long as they're the right one. Of course, he's gonna get high some games and he's gonna take 13, right? But there was a Pacers game where he shot 18 threes and a lot of them were just bad contested threes. But when Tatum drives the basketball, stuff like this happens. So the first play, you see how many people collapse to him. The entire defense. Now, this is the Nets. This is not how you're supposed to play defense. But the Brooklyn Nets, all 5 of them are close to the paint or looking at Tatum because he's in the paint. This means that Sam Hauser in the corner is open. This means that Drew Holiday in the corner just had the greatest corner three-point shooting season of all time last year. It's sitting wide open, and Payton Pritchard is open on the wing. Just an easy drive and kick, swing, pump fake, three for Pritchard. All right, so this is an example of how the Celtics spaced their non-shooting bigs like Cater and Luke Cornett. The Nets were just not checking them for a majority of this game. They were just leaving them open, and the Celtics were getting easy 2-on-1s because of how they space these guys. So usually what the Celtics will do is they will park either Luke Cornett or Amias Cater in a spot on the mid-range area. So you see Cater here is in the mid-range area, and this is to create a dribble handoff, right? So as soon as they get the ball, they're going into a dribble handoff, and because they're not being guarded, this creates sort of a 2-on-1 for about 1 to 2 seconds. And if he's doing a dribble handoff with Jaylen Brown, Sam Hauser, Payton Pritchard, Jason Tatum, because the center isn't guarding them, they have to run up, and that might not be enough time to get back to a shooter of these guys' caliber, especially off the pull-up, right? So blind pick action is designed to take advantage of -9 defense, but it also can be used to take advantage of super high defense. And it's just a dribble handoff under the guy that's -9 the ball or playing super high. So we got Jalen Wilson here. He's guarding Sam Hauser. Sam Hauser is at the logo, so he's really high, checking Sam Hauser beyond the three-point line. Cater, again, not being guarded by Clowney, gets the ball and gets directly into a dribble handoff under the defender. Again, creates a 2-on-1 for just a half a second. This is all the space Sam Hauser needs to get a pull-up three. And of course, this isn't a set, but I just like how the Celtics use Payton Pritchard's gravity in these situations. 6 seconds left on the clock at the end of quarters. We know what Payton Pritchard does, and other teams are starting to see what he does and starting to not let him catch the ball in these situations. We got Keon Johnson pressing up on Payton Pritchard, and nobody's on Jason Tatum. There's nobody on Jason Tatum. So what do? Use Payton Pritchard's gravity in these situations with them, and Jason Tatum, again, being aggressive in these situations. A lot of times when Tatum gets the ball in these low shot clock, these low game clock situations at the end of the quarter. He's taking threes or trying to get the three, the step back three. This time he just gets a running start and gets open mid range. Alright, so in this play, the Celtics do a nice job of manipulating the spacing and just taking advantage of natural basketball instincts by the defender. So here, we got Luke and Drew look like they're gonna set a screen, but Drew just ends up going to the dunker spot and Luke just starts floating because Claxton isn't gonna check him. Here, we got a clear top for Jaylen Brown, right? This whole thing is clear for Jaylen Brown. Dennis Schroeder is a good defender, but he's just too small. So now all Jaylen Brown has to do is just beat this defender and get into the paint, and everything's going to collapse. But on this side, we have trying to manipulate the spacing. We got a pin down for Sam Hauser, which takes Tyrese Martin out of the play. Now, this is important because he is here on this play. He's there. He's helping. They take him out of the play. That's important because, again, Claxton isn't checking Luke Cornett. As soon as Jaylen Brown gets past Dennis Schroeder, it's a 3-on-2 in the paint. Drew in the dunker spot. Luke Cornett cut him because he's not being guarded. And Jaylen Brown, right? If Tyrese was here, this play is a little bit harder because if he's here, Jalen Wilson doesn't have to step up on Luke Cornett. He can stay back on Drew Holiday, and it's just a little bit tougher. But because we did that, we manipulated the space. We have Luke cutting. Jalen Wilson picks up. Claxton, being the shot blocker that he is, tries to go after the shot with Luke Cornett, a good jump pass, and layup for Drew. All right, so here in this play, the Celtics use a little misdirection and the gravity of Sam Hauser as a shooter to get Jaylen Brown a clear side for a post-up. And it's actually crazy to think about, like, the Celtics role players getting their stars open looks. It's like almost always the other way around. Even though Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum do open up things for their role players, I think it's just a cheat code that their role players can also do the same for them. So here we got Sam Hauser coming off this floppy action, right? You got 2 screens for him, and the whole Brooklyn Nets defense that's under the 3-point line is only worried about Sam Hauser, right? You got Cam Johnson. Of course, he's guarding Luke Cornett. He's not gonna like actually guard him, which they weren't doing this whole game. He's looking at Sam Hauser, trying to see how they're gonna play that. Of course, you got Cam Thomas, who's guarding Sam Hauser. He's just worried about chasing. And then you got Zaire, who's guarding Jaylen Brown. He's just he looking at Sam Hauser like he a pretty girl walking down the street. And the whole time, Jaylen Brown's like, you finna get posted up, buddy. He turns around and he's getting posted up out of nowhere, and one. All right, so here's just some good action by the Celtics. They get it into Jason Tatum on the wing. Luke Cornett is going to set this flare screen for Payne Pritchard, but he curls it, and out of nowhere, double team comes. And before it even comes, the ball's out, right? Tatum has gotten, as a scorer and a passer in this game, he was so good as a passer. He had 9 assists, I believe, just 1 shot of a triple-double. And just over the course of his career, he's gotten so good at manipulating any coverages that he's seen. Of course, being a player of his caliber, he's going to see a lot of coverages. As Payne Pritchard curls, he draws Tyrese Martin, who is Jaylen Brown's defender. Again, before the double team even comes, the pass is gone, right? And Payne Pritchard does a nice job of pump faking the first pass, make it Shake Milton jump in the air, then throwing it over top of him. Then we got Luke Cornett getting in the way of Shake Milton, just making his close out a little bit longer, and Jaylen Brown hits a 3. And this is just a really smart baseline out of bounds play. We got Tatum taking the ball out here. We got Claxton on Tatum, a smaller guy on Luke Cornett. Just put Jaylen Brown under the rim and let him use his brute strength and his athleticism to go over top of the defender and get a bucket. All right, so here the Celtics use chin action as their sideline out of bounds play. It's just another way the Celtics create mismatches, right? But this particular play gets them to mismatch in deep positions, so either on a block or isolated on the mid-range area. And it just minimizes the amount of dribbling that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have to do to get a bucket, and it also makes it harder for teams to double. So chin action is a series in the Princeton offense, and it's named after a type of cut. A chin cut is a cut off a back screen, right? So it starts on the wing. The wing in this particular play is Jason Tatum being out of bounds, and the ball has to get swung to the opposite wing, right? As the ball gets to the opposite wing, the back screen is initiated. The first option on this play is to hit the cutter for a layup, but in the NBA, that doesn't happen often because defenders are good, and if they switch it quick enough to not allow the layup, this is what the Celtics do. They just take the mismatch, and again, you get deep positioning for Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum. This play is a success. This is what they wanted. He's isolated with Cam Thomas. Out of respect for my tall, light-skinned star, I won't show how he shot this ball, just to know that the play ended in 2 points, and the purpose of the play was met because he's on Cam Thomas. All right, so here we have another example. The Celtics using their non-shooting centers as spacers. So we got a couple things happening on this play, right? Again, we have Nick Claxton not guarding Luke Cornett because he's not a shooter. This is going to hurt them. We have him helping a shooter on the Drew Holiday post up, and we have Cam Johnson actively denying Payne Pritchard the basketball, right? The same thing's going to happen. Just like Kata did on the clips earlier, the blind pick action is when the guys are denying or they're playing high, and it creates a 2-on-1 for just a second or two because the center isn't guarding the center on our team, who's a screener, right? So Tatum does a nice job throwing the ball to Luke Cornett, who is again in the pocket in the mid-range area. He's teetering the mid-range area, and it just creates a 2-on-1 for just a half a second because Claxton is all the way in the paint. He's not going to be able to get up to Payne Pritchard in time to check this pull-up 3 effectively, and Payne gets a 3 off. Alright, so here this is just a smart play in transition. Jaylen Brown is being guarded by Dennis Schroeder, so don't do anything, just go post up and see how the defense reacts to you. But also on this play, already back is Cam Johnson and Amias Cater, right? So as Jaylen Brown goes to post up, Cam Johnson is trying to favor helping Dennis Schroeder over checking Amias Cater. We already said that, hey, they're not checking our centers in this game, but this opens up 2-on-1 screen opportunity. So Cater sets the flare screen on Claxton, and now as he's coming back, Cam Johnson is also coming back. Miscommunication on defense, and Cater just slips the screen right there. Nice pass by Jrue Holiday in the dunk. All right, so in this play, we got some ram action, but it's into a ghost screen this time. So we have Cater setting a pin out for Jason Tatum. He goes to set the ball screen. Now, I love ghost screens because it makes the defense think one thing is happening, and then boom, another thing happens, which causes them to be off guard for a second or two. So here, of course, Tatum's going to sit here like he's going to set the screen, and you're going to see Zaire set up himself defensively as Tatum's going to set the screen. So he goes up, but Tatum just goes right out of it. Now, Derek White takes a little bit more time than usual to get this ball to Tatum, but we still get Tatum isolated in an open mid-range for Tatum. And again, the Celtics take advantage of the opposing team not guarding their non-shooting centers. Claxton is sagging off a Cater, which creates another 2-on-1 screening opportunity. Again, if you're sagging off and you're not checking a screener, all the center has to do is set a good screen because it creates a 2-on-1 just for a second or two. And with the shooters that we have coming off these screens, Claxton is not able to recover in time, and Derek White hits a three. All right, so in this play, I don't know if this was like designed, but I liked how the Celtics cleared room from Jaylen Brown on this post-up. So here he's against Cam Thomas. What does that mean? We're just gonna post him up. But we got some help from Nick Claxton and Zaire Williams. Now watch what Cater and Jrue Holiday do on this play, right? So for the majority of the game, Claxton hasn't been checking Cater, but now the Celtics have hit a couple threes on those pull-ups because him not guarding Cater as the screener or Luke Cornett as the screener leaves the on-ball defender in no man's land, because if he gets screened well, he can't recover and the pull-up is wide open. Now as Cater goes up, it moves Claxton inside here out of the paint. Jason Tatum throws a phenomenal lob pass to Jaylen Brown in an easy bucket. And this is something I think the Celtics should do more often. We usually see Jrue Holiday in the short roll, Luke Cornett in the short roll, but getting Jason Tatum, your best player in the short roll, is just like, he's gonna make the right decision like 10 times out of 10. Jrue is probably gonna make the right decision 9 times out of 10, but just the weight that Jason Tatum holds, just being able to get the ball in the short roll area with full head of steam and open mid-range and options to throw the ball out to. You see, look, Brown's ready to shoot, Pritchard's ready to shoot, but he doesn't no-look to Cater for the lob. All right, so late in the third quarter, the Celtics just spammed to get the switch pick and roll. So here we got Tatum again as a screener. They did this for like the last 3 minutes of the third quarter. They just used Tatum as a screener, either in that short roll like we seen in the last clip, or just to get the switch on the smaller guys so he can go to work. Here, Tatum gets the one-on-one with Dennis Schroeder, and he gets a tough bucket. All right, so we got the Celtics setting up another short roll opportunity for Jrue Holiday. We got the screen. It looks like they're going to go to ram action, but Cater ends up going into a dribble handoff with Jaylen Brown to get Jaylen Brown on the wing to get the spacing right, and then a pick and roll between Pritchard and Jrue Holiday. Jrue, again, is going to get in the short roll. Jaylen Brown being here means that Jalen Wilson cannot help on this because he has to attend to Jaylen Brown. And Jrue Holiday is going to do a nice move because Poundy is now in a 2-on-1 situation. So as Jrue do a little Euro step towards Cater to fake like he's going to him to open up the floater. So here, the Euro step right there makes County back up just a little bit, and that opens the lane for the floater. All right, so here we got a simple action. We got Jason Tatum getting the ball on the wing, and we got a flare screen for Derek White. A good screen by Luke Cornett opens up Derek White for the three. All right, so here for the last play, we just got the Celtics being a smart team, right? They were double teaming Jason Tatum for a couple possessions before this play, and they knew that it was coming. So you got Derek White telling Jaylen Brown, hey, just cut, bro. Just cut. It's coming. So as the Nets, Keon Johnson starts to creep over to double team before it even comes, the ball's out. And it creates rotation. A good job by Luke Cornett getting to the block to occupy Tyrese Martin for Payne Pritchard to get a wide open corner three. But that is a video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe, and share it in there once you can. Just be out there a little bit more. And I will see you guys in the next video. But this is Nick. Peace.